Hi, freshmen. Mrs. Roth here, and today I'm going to walk you through part one of our Innisfree slides. So this is a poem that we're going to be working with this week. Today, what we're going to do is kind of be introduced to it. We're going to read it several times. We're going to start to think about it, and then what we're going to do later in the week is come back to it and do some annotation using the Notability app and doing some like deeper thinking writing planning around it. Okay, so today is part one, Introduction to Innisfree. All right, the first thing that you're going to want to do here is read the poem. And you're going to start with a cold read. And a cold read of a poem means you haven't read the poem before, you don't have any experience with it, but you're just going to take it in for the first time. And if you don't really get it or you're stuck on certain parts, it doesn't matter. It's just kind of doing a once over quick draft read, right? You want to think about what are your initial reactions to this poem? How does it make you feel, or what questions do you have? So I'm going to flip to the next slide. You should pause the video. You should read through the poem at your own pace. And when you're done, hit play again, and I'll walk you through the next step. All right? So when you're ready, hit pause and read. All right, when you're done with your cold read and you have an initial feeling for that poem, you're going to come on back and you're going to do a warm read. And a warm read is going to be your second time through the poem. Okay, so you've seen it once, you already have some initial thoughts in your head, but this time you're going to go through it more slowly. Since you've got me, I'm going to read it for you the second time around. And as I'm reading it, you kind of want to think about what catches your attention or what do you notice. All right, the Lake Isle of Innisfree. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live aloud in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with the low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's gray, I hear it in the deep heart's core. All right, and that brings us to, number 3 here. I think that should probably be like a hot read. Okay, so we've done a cold read, we've done a warm read, and now we're on round 3. We're calling it a hot read, okay? What you're going to want to do this time is you're going to read the poem again. This time you're going to go more slowly. And what you're going to do is you want to interact with it. Okay, now it might be kind of difficult since we're on screens and not everybody's in the classroom. On a normal year, I'd have you take out highlighters or pencils, but you're not all going to be able to do that. So at least what you want to do is you're going to pause the video and you're going to read it through more slowly. And anything that seems important to you or really grabs your attention, you're just going to reach your finger and touch it. Now that seems, I don't know, maybe it seems kind of silly, but it uses a different part of your brain and it draws attention and it focuses you more. Okay, so it's better, I think, to do it with a pencil, and we'll do it later in the week with Notability. But for today, at least, try to put your finger on the screen on a phrase or a word that catches your attention or seems really important. Okay, so same drill here. You're going to pause the video. You're going to read it on your own with intention, pointing out the places that you think seem important. All right. Okay, and when you're back, we're going to go on to just starting to understand the poem. So we're not going to spend a ton of time. We'll do this more later in the week. But what are some things about when you're thinking about understanding the poem? First of all, what you want to try to do is answer this question out loud. Then the second question is you're just going to think about in your head. So question number 1, what do you think this poem is about? Go ahead, out loud, tell me what you think it's about. Oh, interesting thoughts. Interesting. All right. And then the second thing you're going to do is you're just going to think about the answers down on the bottom. So what do you think you can guess about the speaker in the poem, or what do you know about the speaker in the poem? And what attitude or feelings does the speaker seem to express? So what do you know about the speaker? And what kind of feelings or attitudes seem to be connected or come up in this poem? You're thinking about that. All right, next up, we're going to do some research. So this is the part where you've already thought about it. You have some of your own ideas or questions. Now you're going to try to dig in a little bit, okay? So you're going to pause this video again, and you can either use the links in my slides here, which is the easy route, or you can go ahead and dig in on your own. You can pick a word that you're not quite sure what that word means, and you can look it up, and you can see the definition. You can type in and try to figure out who the author is. You could read a different one of his poems. You could look at the setting, see if you can get some pictures to look at. You're just trying to get information that kind of helps you frame up what this poem might be about. So I'm going to pause it here, and I would say this should take you about 10 minutes to do, okay? By the time you look at the author and the setting and words you might not know, any of the context around the poem, this should take you a little while of clicking and reading and learning, okay? So pause it here and go ahead and do that step. All right, and when you're back, the other last thing you want to do here with it is think about how do you connect to this poem. When you've got like a little better or bigger idea of what this poem might be about, you start thinking about, does it make you feel anything as the reader? And do you have anything similar that you can bring or connect to this poem? So the speaker in this poem talks about his Innisfree. Do you have an Innisfree? Where is your Innisfree? And what does it mean to you? Those are some questions that you can start to consider. The last thing you want to know here is the assignment connected to this poem includes memorization. That's right. You guys are in honors now. You are in honors high school now, and you get the fun task of memorizing a poem. All right, so why memorization, you ask? Well, one, it's going to help you understand it better. It's going to gift you vocabulary, words that you might not have known, that you now feel comfortable saying and pronouncing. And it also provides a challenge. I think that this quote from the New Yorker puts it very prettily. So the best argument for verse memorization may be that it provides us with knowledge of a qualitatively and physiologically different variety. You take the poem inside of you, into your brain chemistry, if not your blood, and you know it at a deeper bodily level than if you simply read it off a screen. Robeson puts the point succinctly. If we do not learn by heart, the heart does not feel the rhythms of poetry as echoes or variations of its own inset beat. I mean, how can you argue with that? All right, so what you're going to do is practice this poem. You're going to practice it every day if you can, and you are going to take a quiz on it next week. If you are a student, you're going to take it early in the week. If you are a BB student, you're going to take it later in the week. If you are a DL student, you're going to take it on Wednesday. All right. Everybody is going to take this quiz, hopefully in person or via WebEx, and you are going to show me that you've got this poem memorized. So what are some methods that can help you out? Repetition, speaking it, chanting it, walking while you say it, writing it out, having a parent or friend quiz you, try use different mediums, try visualizing parts of the poem, develop mnemonic tricks. If you don't know what that is, Google it up. All right. So whatever you feel like is effective for you, but you're going to work on memorizing this bad guy, and it is going to go in the grade book as part of your grade early next week. Or late, or Wednesday. All right. As of today, you are done except for this Schoology assignment. It's a link to your Google Drive, so you should be able to click on it, answer 5 questions about the thinking that you did today, get points for the thinking that you did today, and we will revisit Innisfree later this week. Thanks.